What would you put in your backpack if you had a new coaching engagement but could only take a limited number of items? Each week, the Coach's Backpack looks at the multifaceted world of coaching and asks a new guest to tell us what they would take with them and why. Hi, I'm David Lowe, and this week we're taking a peek inside the backpack of Jo Jones from Barefoot. Welcome, Jo.
Hello.
So first, Jo, before we get into the scenario, can you describe what you do in under 20 words?
Short answer, no. Because as you know, Dave, I like to talk, and limiting me to 20 words is near impossible. But I guess I'll try and limit it.
Limit it to under 200 words. See how we go.
Let's see. Okay. Well, my official title here at Barefoot is I'm in-house coach and tutor. But I have my areas of specialisms, and that is family life coaching, which is what I'm here to talk to you today about, which focuses around supporting parents or anyone involved in children, whether that's mums, dads, nans, granddads, aunts, uncles, teachers. Because I don't know about you, and I know you're a parent, I am too, but I'm still waiting for that blooming manual to come through the door, right? So I support families to give them some, coaching tools to hopefully bring some balance to their family life. But I'm also, in terms of Barefoot, I also lead on all things women's development and all things confidence and self-esteem. That is not under 20 words. I'm not even sure if it's under 200.
No, I got the parenting manual. It came through, but it was in Mandarin. And so I can't read it. So it's no use.
Google Translate this manual.
And I could just blame Google Translate for all of my parenting mistakes. Okay, so here is the scenario, Jo. You've been asked to coach a new client, but are limited to what you can take with you. So don't worry, you've got your essentials, you've got your clothes, your toothbrush, the earplugs to blot out all of the kids. But in addition to those, you can take one book, a tool, technique, concept, method, approach, etc. One other item of your choice, and a person who is from the past or the present to accompany you. What are you taking with you and why?
Oh, this is great, isn't it? I'm going to start with books, since it's first on the list. I couldn't limit it to one, so I've had to go to two. And the first one is called People Making by Virginia Satir. Virginia Satir's work in sort of family therapy still stands up to the test of time, in my opinion. And for anyone interested in her work, her book, People Making, is so beautifully written and so simple, and such, the language she uses is so on point still, and I highly recommend it. She talks about different traits that could be recognizable within families that might be under stress, perhaps. And that could be like the blamer or the fixator, but the point she wants to get to is that, congruent communication is going to be the key, or I guess inverted commas, happy family. But another thing that she often says, and I think this is really beautiful, and I use this a lot in my work. I hear this a lot because people say, oh, but it's been like this for years. Things will never change in my family. It will never change. And actually, according to Virginia Satir, she writes that actually anything is changeable at any point and at any time. I think that's a really nice thing for parents to have in their back pocket, actually. So yeah, shout out to all parents if they're struggling, especially with homeschooling, or what was homeschooling, or the aftermath of COVID and the pandemic, and being sort of caged in at home. And it can change with the slightest little bit of intervention, actually. So yeah, that's my first book, People Making by Virginia Satir. My second book is The Book You Wish Your Parents Had Read by Philippa Perry. Incidentally, this book is on Audible as well, and she reads it as well, and she's really witty. So if anyone wants to, plug in to zone out from their kids or family and want to listen and go on a walk, I really recommend this on audio as well. And again, it's very frank, it's very to the point, and Philippa Perry writes very candidly about some key points. And I guess for me, the key point that I drew on, and that is around feelings and the importance of, she coins it, sort of containing feelings. What does she mean by that? Well, in my opinion, she means honoring feelings. And as an example, I share, I think as a parent, no one really likes to see their kid upset or maybe angry or maybe in a bad temper or in a bad mood. We can have a tendency, can't we, to kind of mask that or sort of play down that. And so I have this example after reading this book. I think you know this story actually, Dave. But after reading this book, my son at the time was having nightmares. He was like 4. And every night I'd go in and he'd be like, oh, Mummy, I've had a bad dream and there was monsters. And I'd be like, oh, there's no such thing as monsters. Don't be silly. No, it's all good, man. It's all good. No, nothing to worry about. And actually, in terms of Philippa Perry's approach, she's like, no, honor that. So I tried it. And the next time he had a nightmare, rather than sort of saying, no, don't be silly, I said, okay, tell me about it. That must have been scary. Were you scared? He's like, yeah, I was. Do you want to tell me about it? Yeah. And do you know what? He did. And he owned his feelings. And it was really quite a moment, actually, because, oh my God, because you kind of go to this place, don't you, where like, am I encouraging this? Is he going to be more scared if I call it out? But you're not. Because guess what? He felt not just listened to, he felt heard. And that was really important. Was it the magic light bulb switch that turned the nightmares off? No. But guess what? He felt heard and he then came, I was a bit scared. Not as scared as last time, but I was a bit scared. And he felt okay to talk about that. And so, that's kind of my key finding from that book. And I really highly recommend it to all of your listeners.
Thank you for those great choices. Let's see how you're going to bend the rules for the rest of the items. What's next?
Oh, I know. I like to bend rules. So look, in terms of a coaching sort of technique tool, right? And when it comes to children, I've already mentioned a few things around things are changeable, nodding to Virginia Satir and the honoring and validating, or in terms of Philippa Perry's work, containing feelings. And there's something I want to draw on actually that is really useful when working with children or wanting to sort of understand children a little bit more. What I would like to share is that thinking about when you're praising your children and what you're praising your children for, or on the flip side of that, what you're kind of telling your children off for. Okay, so let me go into this in a little bit more detail. So there is a ratio that I think is really useful to share, and that is a praise to criticism ratio of 5-1. So every time you're criticizing, you should really be praising for 5. So 5-1, getting praise to criticism. And that's kind of a nod from Nancy Klein's work as well. Incidentally, that's another great book, Time to Think. See, I'm bending the rules again.
No. Come on. Enough with the books.
Yeah, I'll shut my noise. So look, let's go back to this praise piece and criticism piece. This is something that I think is really useful. Praise for doing and praise for being. So sometimes people say, oh, you're such a good boy. What does that mean? What does that really mean? Good. What? Good how? So what I share with your listeners is this, notice a behavior, right? So if, like, for example, my boy today is getting himself dressed every day, like from scratch. Now, this is a big thing because usually it's like, we're late for school. I'm like, come on. No. We're doing it. Close out, and I am not getting involved. He has to get dressed from scratch. And so I'm praising that. I'm just, you're such a good boy for doing that, Isaac. No. Oh, wow. I'm so proud of you for getting dressed from scratch. Really, really fine tune it, really distill what it is you're praising them for. And then when Isaac's being, like, inverted commas, good, and we've just got a new kitten, by the way, it's all very exciting in the house. So when I see him being kind or compassionate or considerate about the kitten and like feeding her or stroking her or being particularly tender, I'll praise that specifically. Oh, I noticed you were really considerate then, Isaac. Well done. That was really nice to see. So my advice really, or what I share rather than advice, is to praise your children when they're, and separate them. So praise for doing and praise for being, rather than sort of bundling it. Oh, that was good. That was good behavior. Really sort of separate it out. And incidentally, okay, listen, we all have to criticize, right? Let's just be really honest about this. When you're criticizing your kid, or you need to sort of tell them off or something, or just challenge a behavior, rather than that was really naughty or you're naughty, note the behavior was naughty rather than them. So, you know, again, I'm using my kid here as an example. He had a bit of a strop the other day as I said no to YouTube. Yes, that struggle is real, isn't it? You know, he threw something on the floor, and rather than saying, "Oh, that was, you know, that you're naughty," so Isaac, that behavior isn't acceptable. And I think that's really useful, actually, because again, you're focusing on a behavior rather than their whole being, right? This is really, really gold dust information. And it goes a little bit further too. You need to consider that children learn you, right? There's the bombshell, there's the mic drop. So regardless of what you try and teach them or what you tell them to do, the way children learn, the way that is by watching and being in your presence. So if you consider this praise to criticism ratio, consider how you're talking to yourself. So, you know, I'm like, oh, you know what? I had a really proud moment at work today, Isaac. I was really proud of myself because, or when I, you know, look in the mirror, you know, I think I look good today. What do you think, Isaac? You know? And they'll pick this up. I share this with you in all seriousness. I was working with an adult client, and she said when I talked to her about this principle, and it's called osmosis. Children learn by osmosis. She's like, oh, she got low self-esteem, and she'd been staring at herself in the mirror for probably years, doing that thing like, oh, my hair doesn't look good. I look fat, pinching her skin, you know. And her little girl used to witness this behavior. Her little girl was 7, I think. The mom saw the 7-year-old copying her mom in the mirror, saying, I look fat. Yeah, it's hard to hear, isn't it? And it's hard, but that's how they learn. So if you want to consider having an influence of your children, consider that they learn you. So praise yourself, practice talking to yourself like your best mate in front of your children, practice celebrating your own successes, practice blowing your own trumpet, and incidentally, practice apologizing too. We don't get it right all the time. Listen, I teach this stuff and still I need to apologize to my son for a behavior that I've done. And that's all, look, I'm owning that. But if I've done something that I'm like, you know, if I've shouted maybe, or I will go down, I'll say to my son, hey, can I have a word? Go down on my knees, get down to his level and say, do you know what? His behavior was naughty then, and I want to apologize. And again, like, I think that's really important, because what am I doing? I'm role modeling that, yeah, no one's blooming perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. But what I am doing is owning it, and I'm role modeling that, yeah, okay, I can sometimes get it wrong, but I'm gonna say sorry for that, for my behavior.
The first thing when you were talking about the praising the action as well is the one that sprung to mind immediately was, you've tried really hard. Well done for trying really hard at that, rather than well done for getting 9 out of 10 on your spelling, because they're not always going to get 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10, right? And so the result, we don't want to be results driven, we want to be effort driven. It reminds me of Andrea Duckworth's Grit. I don't know if you've come across that book, which is shows that some people are, maybe those who are naturally gifted at stuff, walk through school and it's easy. And then there's those like me who have to try hard and actually dig in to get the results. People who have to try hard deal with failure and the knocks, the bumps in the roads a lot better than people who drift through life easily. Because when they have a bump in the road, they fall to pieces because they're not used to the failure, right? This is another book. I'm going to have to edit this out. We've got 4 books now, right? I'm sneaking one in your backpack. What about when you've got a challenge, like you're scared about something, or you're feeling the pressure or whatever? Because kids go to school nervous about stuff, right? It's only natural, as well as excited and as well as all of the other emotions. And actually kind of saying, well, you know what, I've got this thing today and I'm really nervous about it, and kind of acknowledging that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. And again, this falls into role modeling. In fact, today is a live example because I'm doing this with you. What are you doing today, Isaac? And he was telling me what sort of lessons he has today. I said, well, guess what I'm doing? And actually, I'm a little bit nervous. So what are you doing? I said, I'm going to speak to my friend, but it's going to be recorded. Oh, I said, yeah, and do you know what? That makes my hands go a little bit clammy. Does it? I said, yeah, it does. So yeah, absolutely. Role modeling that all emotion is all right. It's normal. And normalizing that is a really powerful thing that you can do with your kids. Yeah. Love that, Dave.
I'm aware of time. So we've got your special item and your person. Well,
my special item is something I can play music from, end of. Because from my point of view, or for any parent's point of view, that is my escape. When I need time out, I go upstairs or wherever, close the door, put my tunes on and sing, rap, dance, and all is well. Equally, I use music as well with Isaac. So when emotion or when things are a little bit gnarly or a little bit tense, right, let's put some tunes on and let's have a disco. Let's have a rock out. So that would be my thing. So it suits kids and it also suits parents too. Yeah. So music and a back catalogue, please, of all my tunes.
Okay. And who's coming with you then?
Okay. I'm sorry, this is going a little bit off kilt. It just has to be my favourite human, and that's Julie Walters. Because if we're going to be out and about, and if I need some time out from working with clients, I just want to laugh. And she's a brummie as well. So that'll make me feel good. So yeah, it'll be Julie Walters and we can talk all things Victoria Wood sketches together.
I was only talking about her this morning with someone else. Her song with about the Women's Weekly. I can't even remember what it's called.
Spank me on the bottom with my Women's Weekly.
Yes, exactly. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, Google it.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, look, this is your backpack packed and Julie Walters is coming along with you. Now, there's a few other things I just want to check with you. So sometimes we don't pack all of our things ourselves. And so someone might have snuck something into that backpack that you don't want there. What would be the one thing that you want to make sure is not in your backpack?
Do you know what? Anything banana flavored, just hate it. I hate the smell of it. Everything, all of that. So any sort of fake banana flavored sweets, milkshake, yogurt, all of that, no.
I love a banana milkshake. I didn't know that there was such a hatred going on there, Jo.
Yeah, but I really like bananas, just not fake stuff.
Oh, okay. So you would have a banana milkshake with real banana in it?
Yeah, if I made it myself at a push.
Yeah, this is really cutting edge stuff.
Oh, I know, right?
Okay, good. So one last question for you. Where do you hope that you are or are not going on this fictional gig with your backpack and Julie Walters?
I know exactly where that would be. It would be near, it's a place called Sennen, near Land's End, where there's a really small, beautiful beach that I know, and it would be down there. And I'd invite a whole group of parents and their kids, and we'd all camp, and it'd be a no phone zone. Yeah, with loads of music and lots of foraging as well, and barbecues on the beach.
Well, Jo Jones, thank you very much for being our guest.
Thank you. This has been so much fun. And also, I realise I really miss you. We need to do this more often, right?
Something different from this. Maybe just drinking.
Maybe just drinking.
Yeah, pretending to our families that, kids, no, you just have to sit and watch YouTube a bit longer because I'm talking.
Yeah.
I'm on a very important business call. How are the clammy palms going now, Jo?
You know what? They're still a little bit there. I'm going to own it. I'm perspiring as well too. It's all good. And it's just a joy to be in your company. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, and yours as well. Thank you. So if people want to know more, Jo, where do they go?
Yeah, listen, Barefoot Coaching is where you need to head to. We've got a website. We're on all the socials. We're on LinkedIn. If anyone wants to email directly, you can. It's info@barefootcoaching.co.uk.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Jo. And thank you for joining us on this episode of The Coach's Backpack. If you'd like extra goodies such as free tools, offers, further info about our guests, and maybe even the odd peek inside their actual backpack, then sign up to our mailing list at thecoachesbackpack.com. And don't forget to follow the podcast too. See you next time.